I'm Robin Carey, and it's my pleasure to be talking today to Ekaterina Walter. Ekaterina is definitely on everyone's short list of the most important people in social media. She ran social at Intel for a number of years, and now she's the CMO and co-founder of Branderati.
Correct.
Which is Branderati? Tell me a little bit about the firm.
We have a platform, one of the sort of main software offerings that we have is a platform that allows you to build influencer and advocacy networks, whether it's outside with your customers, with your influencers, or with your employees in a meaningful way. So, just recruiting them and building a relationship with them is one thing, but engaging them in interesting ways, in a sustainable way, and building that relationship throughout time and making sure that they continue to be advocates of your brand is, you want a platform to help manage that a little better, and you also want to make sure you have real-time metrics. So a platform like Branderati allows you to do the whole program in a way easier way and more accessible way.
Cool. And you've got a new book out.
I do. Yes, I do. My second book.
The Power of Visual Storytelling.
That's right.
Yes, and the first book was Think Like Zuck, great
Correct.
title.
Oh, thank you.
And this is now available on Amazon?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. So tell me about the book. I mean, obviously,
That's
great
right.
theme, but one of the things I loved about The Power of Zuck was that you were able to bring very current thinking and yet distill it in such a way that the average marketer could find it very accessible. So,
Well, thank you.
what are you doing that on visual storytelling that will be helpful for marketers?
Very similar. It's I think where Think Like Zuck was more of a strategic way of looking at either an enterprise that you are starting or you are inside of, because there's entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, or even with your career. So a lot of basic principles of building what you want to build in life apply. So it was more of a sort of business and strategic outlook. This book dives a lot into how to. It does have a chapter on helping you build a visual strategy, but a lot of it is sort of how to really think about content strategy in a way that it's more visual, it's more appealing. Because attention is commodity right now, right?
Right.
Our attention spans shrink every year. So now they say it's between 3 to 8 seconds. So with the amount of information out there, what I call infobicity, right? So with the rise of infobicity, how do you catch attention of your consumers, of your partners, and make sure that the content that you're producing is above the fold for them, that they consume your content versus others, or they engage with you and your brand versus others. So sort of the book walks through how to use visual strategy, how to use visuals, videos, infographics, presentations, to help you market your brand more effectively, because the reality is human brain processes images and pictures 60,000 times faster than it does text, and we consume information in pictures. We think in visuals. I mean, language only existed for 3,000-5,000 years, but people drew from the beginning of time. So I think it's just that evolution, and most of social networks now, not just rise of Pinterest and other visual
Facebook,
networks.
they all prefer visuals.
Oh, exactly, right.
Absolutely.
Latest Twitter changes is all about preferring, visuals up front and
And
center.
Adobe's research around this is
Right.
really quite compelling about conversions when you use video and
Correct.
use
Absolutely.
pictures. So you on the one hand, you've got one of the most acute understandings of the power of influencers and networks to create a marketing initiative.
Right.
I don't want to call it a campaign, but certainly to get the story out. You understand how it's about the network. And on the other hand, you're talking about the end product.
Right.
Does this book address what goes on in between?
I think it talks about a variety of things, and also offers examples of multiple different businesses and multiple industries, right? And people love separating B2B and B2C, and I keep saying, well, it's B2B, it's person to person anymore. But it does address sort of different approaches. The reality is now with the rise of social, right? We are talking to people individually, and
Right.
and we B2B folks want to think that they're talking to enterprises, but they really aren't. So catching attention of the right decision maker, right? That's our purpose. That's always been the purpose of marketing, and definitely sort of the rise of visual social media and just visual content becomes a critical element for your strategy, absolutely.
Well, I know you've gotten great blurbs here from Brian Solis and David Meerman Scott and a number of others, Scott Monty.
Right.
So looking forward to reading it. Just in case anyone didn't get it the first time, it's called The Power of Visual Storytelling by Ekaterina Walter. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.